So we're going to install your torch now. You're going to want to take your torch head off. Make sure not to drop all the electrodes of the tip out. You see this one has the ohmic on it. Okay, your torch. You don't want to mess up your thread, so just be careful putting it inside. Slide it in. Just kind of leave it up high. You don't want to kink this torch hose at all. Just restrict the airflow if you do so. Just go ahead and put your torch back on, or tip back on. This is just rough, and then so I'm gonna tighten it down. So now we can install your pins and then adjust your height when it's all together. Now that you have everything out of the way, we're going to push your gantry all the way back and then install the water pans. You just line it up, just roughly, it will move. So I'm not putting the caulking glue between this for the sealer. You have to put sealant on it or it will leak. I'm not putting the sealant on it just because I'm going to be tearing apart this. It'll be a waste of make a mess also. So I'm going to show you guys how to put these together and bolt them down. Once you bolt them down, we want you to, with the sealant in it, we want you to put weight on the tanks and let it dry. You don't want to put water in it for at least 24 hours, depending on what sealant you get. Once you let it dry, we recommend putting like 5-gallon bucket, like 2 5-gallon buckets in each pan, depending on what size table you get. But 2 5-gallon buckets full of water, and then you just dump that water back in the tank once it's all dry. And I'll grab some bolts and tighten this down. Now that you have your water pans all lined up, you don't have to square them yet. We do recommend you putting clear silicone. Fast striking silicone is the best because you guys probably want to cut as fast as you can. We still recommend 24 hours so you don't have, or 24 hours cure time so you don't have any leaks or any problems. But you get this somewhat straight with each other after you have the glue set up. Throw your bolts in. So if you have glue, or when you have the glue in it or the silicone, we don't recommend you just doing like every single bullet in order. I recommend doing like every other one. We'll do fine, or every two. This will be the same process for all the different size tables, as well as every single one. There's 4 trays on our biggest tables and 2 trays on the smaller tables, or 1 tray if you have a 2x2 or 2x4. Now that you have your water pans all bolted up, you're gonna, or the first 2, you're gonna continue the step throughout the other 2. I'm gonna show you guys how to, or just use the 5-gallon buckets and show you where to place them. We just want you to center them on each side. I'm gonna grab 2 for the front. So buckets will do full of water for keeping the weight down, or keeping the weight pressing against the water pans. You just want to make sure the seal doesn't fold when you put your water in it, and then this makes it so there's less leaks, if there's any leaks at all. Or this makes it so there won't be any leaks once you put water in it, and the pan, because the pans do flex. We recommend putting weight on every single pan to evenly spread the load on it. If you don't have a ton of buckets, we recommend like lifting weights or parts inside the shop that you can put on there. Any weight will do. So you want to grab 2 C-clamps or the spring clamps that people use, or vice grips will do, or even a zip tie if you don't have one of these, or a couple of these. So grab 4 slats for each tank. The 2x2s and 2x4s don't need to have more than 4 in each tank. So grab them. String them out. Clamp them like that. Do that to the other 4. Make sure the slats go up. Kind of do it firmly. You want to do them at the end. Hey, Joseph. Or Jeff.
Really? Do I look like a black nigga to you?
Now that you have your slats clamped down over there in the back, you flip sideways, spread them out. Like that. Same thing to the other ones. This is a lot easier to do with 2 people, but that is not always the answer. one down, you go ahead and unclamp the ends. Spread them all out, and then I recommend not doing every one next to each other because that's kind of difficult. Go ahead and do anywhere where I'm doing a little shake just to get it to drop into the little slots. Going like every other one or every couple is easier, so now the next couple slats will go in relatively easier. You want to repeat this process over on the other set slats or other set of tanks. And now I'll show you guys how to set up the torch. So what you want to do on this step is grab a sheet of 16 gauge and set the 16 piece of 16 gauge or something thin that's this that you can touch your torch onto. The thinner the better for this next step. Go ahead and take your torch off, and then run your hands on the ball screw. Put the torch or the Z all the way down, bottomed out. Now that it's bottomed out, Grab your torch and the Allen to loosen up the adjustment on the torch itself. This ball screw is greasy, so your hands will get greasy. Took my gloves off because I didn't have enough grip on that. On the ball screw. Just loosen up the torch. Go up and down, put the magnetic torch head back on, slide your torch down, and you notice there's, I would say, about an inch, a good inch of up and down for the touch off. You want to go touch all the way down the bottom, pop that back on, all the way down, and then lift it up just so it's, I would say, about a 1/4 inch. This does not have to be perfect. This is for your travel heights when you want to go all the way up, away from the material when you're jogging around on the table. So it's touching. Tying that down. You want this nice and snug. You don't want to tighten this too much, but enough where it's not going to move off. Just running it up a little bit so it's not dragging anymore. This is also easy to do with the laptop hooked up, to go up and down on the Z. I'm just showing you if you don't have that set up yet. Now it's ready to move around, and you're ready to set up the laptop.